Hello, we're presenting Guardian Grip today to you. This is a impaired driver detector system. Basically, it has different parts. We do a couple of tests to see if the driver is eligible to drive or not. The tests are varying from grip, steering wheel grips, that driver should hold the steering wheel for 3 seconds. Then the driver would be asked to position the steering wheel into some certain angles, and it could be detectable with the rotary potentiometer, continuous rotary potentiometer. And at the end, there would be a cognitive game where the user needs to touch, or point at the sensors, or touch the sensors, or brake the pedal when the LEDs next to each element will show up. The application, real-world application, could be at any automobile and car. It could be duplicatable to any other cars. And also for the actuation part, we have flashing LEDs. If the driver was successful throughout the whole test, the LEDs would be flashing, and if they failed, there would be solid red LEDs.
So for the first cognitive game, we have the stage 1, which is the grip stability. So we have two force sensors here, the left and the right. And if you can see in the VI, we have the voltage reading from the right sensor and the left sensor. And basically, when the user is not gripping the force sensor, the voltage will be reading 3. When they are fully gripping it as hard as they can, it'll read 0.3. And so we have a threshold of 0.5. So when the reading is less than 0.5, it'll detect that the user is holding it with sufficient pressure. Once both left and right are engaged and holding at the right threshold, then what we do is we start a timer. So at the time when they both press, the time starts. And then in every next iteration, we'll recount the time to make sure they hold it for 3 full seconds at a constant speed. And if they do pass, then we go on to the next step. If they don't, however, finish the whole, the whole stage in the 15 seconds that they are provided with, the full system will stop and they will fail the test. And here for the wiring, we used, for the force sensor, we used a voltage divider circuit to get the left and right voltages separately.
The second part of our game, here we're going to be measuring how the user rotates this with the angle. We're going to be using the rotary potentiometer here, right over here. And with this, we're going to prompt the user to go to a random angle, say 45 degrees. Once they get there, within a tolerance of 2 degrees, there's going to be a progress bar that fills up. And once the progress bar fills up, they have to hold it for 5 seconds to advance to the next stage.
So essentially now for the braking, we want to determine if the user is able to press the brake sufficient enough. So what we do is we use the linear potentiometer and we measure the voltage difference in time, so we can measure the brake speed. So we take the current voltage value, subtract it from the previous one, and divide it by the time. That's how we get the brake speed. So if we run it and we get the brake speed in a certain threshold of 20 volts per second, then we can determine that the brake press is sufficient enough to where the user is able to pass the test. So if I keep pressing.
Okay, here is the demonstration of the whole project. There is the first stage, flashing LEDs for 5 seconds. It just shows that the system is running. Then the system asks the user to put their both hands on the steering wheel. In 15 seconds window, they should do it for 3 seconds period. So as you can see here, it was more than 15 seconds, so it's a failure. So again, the flashing stage, after the user will be asked to put their hands on the steering wheel and hold it firm. After that, we're going to the next stage, which is putting the steering wheel into some certain angles. As you can see, when I'm getting close to that angle, the progress bar will be filled. And after 5 seconds, now that we're past and we're at 4th stage, the user will be asked to touch which LED was light up. So one more time the brake. When it's turned off, you need to press it. And if you could pass all the tests, that would be flashing lights at the end, which means the success, and the driver is eligible to drive. So initially, we plan to use another cognitive game stage, which the user will be asked to put resistance against the movement of the motor. We measure the resistance with the current clamp. We just measure the current coming, the motor consumes. I can show you the movement of the motor and how the current goes up when I resist to the movement. So basically, it's this, and when I don't resist, it's almost like 0.3, 0.2 amps, but when I resist to the movement, you can see it goes up to almost 1 amp.